Hey guys, Toast here. PlanetSide 2 is one of my favorite first-person shooters due to the remarkable scope of the game and the intense large-scale battles and coordination used among squads and platoons to take your faction to the top dog of the continent. But as much as I love the game, it can also be daunting to start as a new player. While Daybreak Games has definitely done a better job at giving players some basics with their tutorial, it isn't quite enough to really set players up to hit the ground running in the regular continents. This guide, while perhaps a little bit long and exhaustive, will ensure that the next time you log into PlanetSide 2 that you feel like you can jump right into the battle and know what you're doing and how to do it. A couple quick notes on this guide: when it comes to factions, for the most part it's safe to assume that unless specifically addressed, something shown for one faction would be applicable to all other factions. This guide assumes that you do not have experience playing PlanetSide 1, as some of the things discussed are similar to that game. And finally, this guide was designed on PC and specifically for the PC version. However, the vast majority of the topics covered will also apply to the PS4 version and, should one ever exist, an Xbox One version. With that said, let's start off with what you're going to encounter the first time you start up the game. After you've created your account and verified your email, which you will need to do in order to log in for the first time, you'll be presented with the three factions. Starting at the top, you have the Vanu Sovereignty, or VS. The Vanu Sovereignty are a transhumanist cult of academics, intellectuals, and technology worshippers who believe that human destiny lies in the further development and exploitation of the alien technology. The VS soldiers are equipped with laser weapons that have relatively low recoil, medium rates of fire, medium damage, but very fast reload times. Up next, we have the New Conglomerate, or NC. The New Conglomerate are a separatist faction determined to remain free of the controlling and domineering Republic. They feel that any form of control is oppression and that a miserable free man is better off than a contented slave. Their weapons are very heavy-hitting, have low rates of fire, high recoil, and long reload times, but when they connect their shots, they're deadly. Finally, we have the Terran Republic, or TR. The Terran Republic are a conservative, authoritarian, collectivist nation who strive to regain contact with the homeworld and reunite the warring factions. The TR are equipped with the most classic military-style weapons that include high rates of fire, medium damage, medium recoil, and medium reload times. This class is all about connecting as many shots as quickly as possible, and this consistency is what makes them deadly. At this point, you'll need to select which faction you wish to belong to, and honestly, the only difference between them, aside from the players of course, are the weapon styles that they'll have, as well as the specialty weapons that they'll have. Pick the faction whose story and style will resonate the most with you, and don't worry, while this choice will be forever bound to this particular character, you can always create new characters, up to 3 total for free, so you can have one for each class to try out and decide which you like the best. Once you've chosen your character, you'll be presented with which server you wish to join. The servers are broken down by region, so you have the Eastern United States with Emerald, the Western United States with Connery, Europe with Cobalt, and Australia with Briggs. By default, the server selections will provide you with the recommended servers. However, you can select the View All Servers button at the bottom of the screen to see more options. By clicking it, you'll be provided with 2 more options. Pick the server that will provide you with the lowest consistent ping, as that will give you the most consistently smooth gameplay experience. After choosing your server, it's time to create your character. While you have some options in PlanetSide 2 for your initial character customization, there honestly aren't many. Your only real options are whether you want to be a male or female, and which of the 4 head choices you'd like to pick. Do note that there are plenty more customization options later in the game, however they're paid options in which you would need to purchase a premium currency with real-world money. Once completed, the game will initially load you into a very basic tutorial. In this tutorial, you'll be taught things such as how to move, jump, crouch, capture points, which is done just by standing near them, change classes, shoot, aim down sight, and use terminals, which you can do by running up to them and pressing E by default on PC. This tutorial is quick and will allow you some time to adjust your aim sensitivity and get a feel for the overall controls. At the end of the tutorial, you'll be presented with a terminal that will teleport you to your first continent, Kultir. Kultir is, for all intents and purposes, a starter continent that's a fraction of the size of the normal continents in the game. That said, it isn't a bad idea to spend a little time here to get a feel for how the menu system, maps, and classes work. When you first spawn in, you'll be placed at your faction's warp gate. This is a safe, shielded location in which you cannot be harmed by enemies or friendlies. This is your safe haven, and there's one warp gate for each faction located on each of the game's 4 main and 1 starter continents. Start by pressing the M key on PC to bring up your map. This is where you can get an idea of the overview of the continent that you're located on. You'll see that the map is divided into 3 different colors. This denotes the territories that are controlled by each of the 3 factions. Blue signifies the new Conglomerate, red signifies the Terran Republic, and purple signifies the Vanu sovereignty. Ultimately, your goal is to have all locations on the map be your faction's color, which means that you've taken over the entire map and locked it for play, providing your faction a bonus dependent on which continent you've locked down. Now you'll notice that there are either solid or dotted lines connecting each of the bases on the map. These are called lattice lines and signify which bases can be controlled based on which bases you already have controlled. A solid line means that a location is connected directly to a separate location owned by the same faction. A dotted line means that a location is directly connected to a separate location owned by a separate faction. When it comes to taking over bases that your faction does not already control, you can only take over bases that are connected by a dotted line to a location that your faction already controls. If this isn't the case, you won't be able to take over that base until you've taken over a different location that provides you a dotted line to this new base. You'll also notice little green circles that are located near the indicators for each base. These are spawn locations and let you know which of the bases you can spawn from your current location. By pressing Escape in-game on PC, you'll bring up the main menu. Let's go over each one of the tabs since they're all quite important. The first tab at the bottom is your My Character tab. By clicking on that, you'll have access to 4 tabs on the left. My Profile, which gives you an overview of your character, My Stats, which gives you a detailed breakdown of many of your stats in the game, Leaderboards, which are exactly as you would expect, and finally Boost, which are the boosts that you have and can purchase with Daybreak Cash, which again is the currency purchased with real money. Moving on, you have the Map tab, which we've already discussed a little bit. A couple of quick additional notes about this tab since you can actually do quite a bit from it. You can use the upper left Spawn As menu to select which class and loadout you'd like to spawn in as. You have the Deployment menu, which gives you the possible options as well as their distance in which you can spawn. You have the Deploy button, which will be the actual button that spawns you in, as well as an Instant Action button, which will deploy you in a location in which a battle is going on to get you right into the action. In the upper right, you have the Statistics screen, which gives you continent-specific information pertaining to the different factions on that continent. And finally, when you hover over the map itself, it'll give you specific information in the bottom right pertaining to the population of that location. Up next, we have the Classes tab. This is where you're going to be able to customize each of the class loadouts available to you, and we'll go through these a little bit more in depth shortly. Next, you have your Vehicle loadout screen, which allows you to customize each of your vehicle loadouts. After that is your Implant menu, which are essentially perks that use up a resource when equipped. It's a bit more of a complicated system and won't be covered in this particular guide. Next is Directives. These are essentially challenges that can range from specific classes to weapons to objectives that will reward you with certification points if completed. Then you have what I consider to be one of the most important screens, the Social menu. From here you have tabs on the left for Squads, which is where you'll be able to join squads and platoons, Outfit, which is where you'll be able to search for an outfit to join, which is essentially the clan system in PlanetSide 2. You can also see from this screen who from your outfit is online if you're already in one. You have the Leadership Search tab, which we won't worry about because you can't really do anything there until level 10. You have your Friends tab, which shows you which of your friends are online. You have the Voice and Chat tab, which allows you to access the continent chat in the menus. You have Notifications, which is an area to show you specific notifications like friend requests, outfit requests, warp requests, etc. And then finally you have the Video tab, which allows you the option of streaming straight to Twitch from in-game. The final tab at the bottom is the Depot tab, which is essentially the in-game store where you can purchase items with either certification points or Daybreak Cash. Let's talk about the classes available to you in the game, the weapons available by default, the gadgets, tools, and abilities. Starting out, we have the Infiltrator class. This can be correlated to a sniper class in traditional first-person shooters, however they have many more options available to them than traditional sniper classes. They're equipped by default with long-range rifles. Both the Vanu Sovereignty and the Terran Republic have semi-auto rifles to start, where the new Conglomerate has a bolt-action rifle. The class is equipped with a faction-specific secondary weapon, and then has access to a recon detection device which allows them to shoot a recon dart that reveals enemies on the minimap in a small radius for a period of time. The secondary loadout by default offers you a motion sensor which can be placed on the ground to mark enemies on the minimap indefinitely until it's either destroyed or a new one is placed down. The infiltrators also have access to cloaking devices that allow them to turn almost invisible, making them a challenge to see by enemies. Next up is the Light Assault class. This is a fighter and flanker class capable of getting behind and above unsuspecting enemies to take them out. They're equipped with either carbines or shotguns depending on the loadouts, and have the same faction-specific sidearm as all other classes. They're equipped with jump jets, allowing them to either glide through the air or propel themselves upward, allowing them to reach locations that many other classes cannot get to by default. Next is the Combat Medic. As the name suggests, this class is designed to keep your team alive and provide support in the way of healing and revives. They're equipped with either assault rifles or shotguns by default, and have the same faction-specific sidearm as all other classes. They have a medical applicator tool at their disposal that can both revive and heal enemies depending on whether you right-click or left-click on PC, and they also have access to a nano regen device that allows them to provide an area of effect heal that will restore both their and all close allies' health. After that is the Engineer class. They're the ultimate support class, providing a range of support for their teammates. They're equipped with carbines and shotguns by default, and have the same faction-specific sidearm as all other classes. They have a repair tool that allows them to repair vehicles, terminals, max units, as well as a number of location-specific objectives. They're capable of throwing out ammo packs that'll restore primary and secondary ammo for all classes, as well as launcher ammo for the heavy assaults. In addition to all of that, you also have an anti-infantry turret that can be placed and manned by you. The turret deals high damage to infantry and has a small personal shield, making the user more difficult to hit. Next is the Heavy Assault class. This is your frontline heavy fighter. They're equipped with light machine guns and shotguns and have the same faction-specific sidearms as all other classes. They're equipped with launchers that allow them to take out vehicles ranging from transport and light armor to the heaviest tanks and air vehicles in the game. They also have access to the nano shields, which provide them essentially a secondary shield when activated that soaks up all damage before their primary shield and health begin to get hit. This makes them some tough SOBs to take down. Finally, we have a quasi-class, which is the Max class. This is a class that's purchased with Nanites, which we'll cover shortly. The Max class is the heaviest ground unit in the game. By default, they're equipped with either one anti-infantry and one anti-tank weapon, or one anti-infantry and one anti-air weapon. They're heavily armored mobile units with massive destructive power, and they're able to be healed by engineers but only revived by medics. Speaking of nanites, let's cover what these are. You may notice a blue marker on your screen next to the number of certs, which is the amount of nanites you currently have. Nanites are a resource that you gain over time, which is used to purchase max units and vehicles, as well as replenish used grenades, C4, and restoration kits. You'll earn this resource just by owning territory, so you don't have to do anything specific in order to receive it. You can hold up to 750 at a time, and item costs will range from 50 for small things up to 450 for some of the largest vehicles. If your faction has a lockdown continent, you'll receive a bonus to purchasing things with nanites, ultimately lowering the price for a period of time. But that's going to do it for part 1 of this guide. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you feel better equipped to jump into PlanetSide 2 now, and if you've chosen to do so, if you're enjoying it. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more content, please subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Toast, and I'll talk to you soon.